Our social media news is a little bit of a further on to what we were talking about last week. Now, Twitter are changing the amount of characters that are allowed in each tweet. So we spoke about that last week, so it had come out last week. So there's been a lot of update as to, well, what does it mean? You know, what does it mean there? What characters are included, what aren't included? So we're just going to talk about that for a little bit today, first of all. So just to give a bit of background, when you're constructing or writing a tweet, you've got to do it within 140 character limits. So that is the limit for a tweet. It's different from when you're using other social media platforms like Facebook. You've kind of got limitless, you know, you can write as much as you can in there. But on Twitter, if you're using Twitter, you have a 140 character limit. Now, previously, that 140 character used to include so many characters would be taken out if you added an image. So many characters were taken out if you add a link. And characters were used up by putting someone's username in there. So what it done is it kind of restricted what you had to, what you were going to put in the tweet, because you had to really think about it, obviously, to get your point across if you wanted to use images and kind of words as well within your tweet. So I'm just going to go through some of the updates regarding the 140 character limit. So what's happening now is media attachments. So if you attach like an image, perhaps you're promoting an event or you're showing off something from your website, something like that. If you attach the image, it's not going to take any characters up. So that is a good thing to start with. So if you add an image, you've still got 140 characters left to add into your tweet. It's still going to include the link. So they're not going to remove the link from the character count. So the links are still going to be in there. And the reason for that is so that people don't have limitless links that they can kind of be, you know, shooting out to people and maybe spamming people. So that's the reason for that. So the links are still going to be included in the actual count, but it will still shorten your links. So it's not going to obviously take over from there. But media posts, that's not going to include. Links are going to be included. Usernames and replies are not going to be included. So if you construct a tweet to start with and put a username in, then the character count from that username is going to be included in your initial tweet. But once you reply, you can then put as many handles as you want in that reply, and those are not going to be counted. So it's really really backing up the fact that it's a kind of conversation. You know, they want the conversation to be going and to adding people in. So if you're replying to somebody or doing a quote tweet and then replying that way, it's not going to be included in your 140 characters. So that is quite good. Before, when you used to send out a tweet, say to somebody, so if I had sent a tweet to you and just put your username, so at online events, and then done the tweet, before with the algorithms, Twitter wouldn't send that out to everybody that is following me. So they would only see that tweet if they were following both of us, because I had put your name right at the start. So a lot of the times we were changing tweets, you'd either put maybe like a dot and then the person's name or the person's the person's Twitter handle, or you'd write something and then they put the Twitter handle, and that was a way to get that tweet into the streams of other people as well, you know, whether if they weren't following that person. But it's changing. So if you start your tweet with a Twitter handle, it's just going to go out to all of your followers. So it's kind of the way back to what it was before, because that's what it was originally, and then they changed it, and for obviously they're testing things and seeing what works the best, and so that's another fact for that one. And the final one is that you're going to be able to retweet yourself. So you might think, what?
That sounds interesting. Tell us more about that, Sandra.
Well, we're retweeting ourselves. So what it is that if perhaps you've put out previous content that you want to either maybe forward to somebody, or you want to retweet it just as bringing it back to the, you know, in the beginning of your feed kind of thing, then you can retweet. At the moment, you'll see if you look on your own tweet, the little retweet button is greyed out. So there's nothing you can...
That's right. You've never been able to do that before, have we? Yeah.
So and how people will use that will be interesting, but it's really, it's a good way if somebody was asking you a question, you've already maybe sent a tweet about that or so, you could quote retweet yourself and then add the person into the reply. And their handle won't be counted in your figure, in your character counts. You can put 140 worth of characters in there. So that basically is, what's going to happen with the retweets. It's kind of going to be a more fluid, I suppose, back and forth from them. But so just to summarise, I'll just go through that again. So your media attachments are not going to count in your 140 character limit. The links are still going to be included. Usernames are only included in the initial tweet, but if you're doing a reply or a quote, you're quoting the tweet and then replying that way, the username is not going to be included. If you're doing a reply to somebody, it's not going to be included in the tweet. And you can retweet yourself. So there you go.
That's a great summing it up, Sandra. Fantastic. There's quite a lot in all that, isn't there? But it's good to know those changes and kind of keep up with what Twitter is doing. Thank you for that news. Yeah,
so it's just a bit further forward from what we were talking about last time. So
lovely. Thank you. And if anybody's got any questions about that, I'm sure you'd be up, Sandra, for responding to some comments and questions about that. Is anybody noticing those differences, enjoying using them? Be lovely to hear about that.
Yeah, definitely. They can either send us a tweet or send us a message on Facebook or anything like that. So I think it's good news, and it's a bit of a change for the platform. So they're just keeping up with changes that are happening throughout time. So, and again, we said before that nothing in social media will stay the same forever.
Absolutely.
So, you've kind of got to kind of go with the flow. Some of the changes you might like, some of the changes might not suit you as well, but it's good. I think it's good to know that, these things are kind of being updated and then we can just keep an eye on it. And if there's anything particular we need to know, we can bring that out as well.